What is up, Commanders? Red here, and welcome to what is probably the final video of 2020. What an insane year it's been. Lots of ups, but an insane amount of downs as well, including some personal losses on my side. But we had a crazy year of gaming, from one of the best remasters that I've ever played, that being Command & Conquer Remastered Collection, to the launch of a next generation of consoles. Who would have ever thought that in a crazy pandemic-filled year like this year, we would see the launch of two new consoles? Well, three if you include the smaller Xbox Series S. I mean, thinking back to the launch of the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, it doesn't really feel like new consoles has launched, because it feels almost like the new consoles kind of snuck in towards the end of the year. I mean, we have the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and Xbox Series S. That is, if you can get your hands on those, and if you're not buying them from scalpers. But it's been a crazy year indeed. Lots of delays. I mean, the cinema industry itself saw a incredible decline in terms of sales, and just movies being pushed back. It's been a crazy year, to say the least. So hopefully 2021 will be a much better year. It kind of sounds crazy saying 2021, because I still don't have a chronosphere, nor do we have Tiberian growing outside in the field, but I digress. So the main topic of this video is basically just the future of the Command & Conquer franchise, and just me basically speculating on what I think is going to happen going forward. Now, I do want to say that this is purely a speculative video and not based on any leaks, rumors, or facts. It's just me, by the end of the year, just want to talk and reflect on the Command & Conquer franchise itself. Because going back to 2018, we saw the first tease, or the announcement, of Command & Conquer being remastered, and still to this day, that video where I speak about Command & Conquer coming back is still my highest viewed video. And many comments in that video said that I was just doing a clickbait, that it's not going to happen, that EA is going to ruin it, that loot boxes are going to ruin it, and understandably so, because the year prior to that, EA released Battlefront 2, and we know what a pretty much a shitstorm of mess that game was on launch. It's much better now, but at launch, EA basically massacred the Battlefront franchise. So understandably, having EA attached to your game, people were not happy, to say the least. And soon thereafter, we saw the release of Anthem, and we know what a disaster that was. So of course, saying EA is going to remaster one of the most beloved gaming franchises of all time, without a doubt you would think that there was going to be loot boxes, but Jim Vasella quickly addressed that and said that there's going to be no loot boxes in Command & Conquer at all. In fact, he kept the fans very confident on what EA and Petroglyph was working on, because of his constant feedback on Reddit and social media, his QAs, and then of course the constant video updates. Specifically that one video where he found the old tapes of the original recordings from the FMVs of the Command & Conquer franchise. And that is one thing I hope he continues to do going forward with the franchise, whether or not they remaster more games, or if they're working on a completely brand new Command & Conquer game. And that is my first point, or my first guess, my first speculation that I want to get to, as this is completely an unscripted video, so I'm just here drinking my cup of coffee at the end of the year, reflecting on the Command & Conquer franchise. And something I've said in multiple videos is that I think EA and Petroglyph is working on a brand new Command & Conquer game behind the scenes, that they will most likely announce after the release of the next remaster titles. Now, with it being a new Command & Conquer game, I think they will most likely just stick to the name Command & Conquer. I don't think they're going to go to one of the universes of Red Alert or Tiberian, or even Generals either. I think it's just going to be called Command & Conquer. I mean, we did see an announcement of Generals 2 way back, and I believe it was 2012, 2013. It was called Generals 2, then the name changed to just being Generals, then the name changed to just being Command & Conquer, and then eventually it was cancelled. So I do think, as I said, I think EA and Petroglyph is working on a brand new Command & Conquer game with a brand new engine, and they're just going to call it Command & Conquer. There might be hints or Easter eggs from the previous franchises, but I think they want to create a completely new universe, a completely new setting within the Command & Conquer franchise, and therefore I do think possibly we're going to see this in late 2022, early or mid 2023. Now, as for what will happen before that, we saw a cheeky tongue-in-cheek message from Petroglyph on Facebook saying, would you rather want a remaster of Red Alert 2 or a remake of Red Alert 2? And frankly, I think they're gonna remake Red Alert 2 instead of remastering it, but we're still gonna get another remaster in the form of Tiberian Sun. Now hear me out, doing a remaster after they've done the remastered collection of Red Alert and Command & Conquer Tiberian Dawn, it's kind of easy. I won't say easy in terms of like anybody can do it, but using easy in quotes to do a remaster because they've done it before. So of course if they do it again, they know how it works, they know what to do, they know the ins and outs, so of course it's going to take a lot quicker. Therefore, I do think we're going to see a remaster of Tiberian Sun and then a remake of Red Alert 2 in the engine of the new Command & Conquer game. Now, the reason I say that is specifically because I just mentioned that it's easier to do something once you've done it before. So if they do a remaster or a remake, of Red Alert 2 with the new engine that they're using for the new Command & Conquer, by the time they get to finishing up the new Command & Conquer, they would have already had a lot of experience with this engine because they did it with the remake of Red Alert 2, so they know the ins and outs, they know how to essentially bug fix it, they know how online play works, they know how multiplayer works, and doing bugs for the new Command & Conquer game will be much easier because they already have experience doing a remake of Red Alert 2. I mean, if you look at a company like Naughty Dog, I remember when they released The Last of Us Part 1 remaster on PlayStation 4, in an article, Naughty Dog specifically stated that the biggest reason they did the remaster on PlayStation 4 is so that the company can get familiar with the tech, with the hardware that is the PlayStation 4. So by the time they got to The Last of Us Part 2, even though it's a completely updated engine and of course looks significantly better than The Last of Us Part 1, they were already familiar with the engine, with the hardware of the PlayStation 4. So of course, if they do a remake of Red Alert 2, which will most likely release shortly after the remaster of Tiberian Sun, then by the time they get, like I said, to the new Command & Conquer game, they will be much more experienced, so it'll look visually much better and there'll be much less bugs. And I also do not think they're gonna release it in the form they did with the remastered collection. I do think we're going to see a remaster of Tiberian Sun and its expansion around the mid of next year, then maybe early mid 2022 we'll have the remake of Red Alert 2. Maybe even they're going to do something in terms of if you pre-order the remaster of Tiberian Sun, then you get early beta access to the multiplayer portion of Red Alert 2 so that they can essentially sort that out by the time the game releases mid 2022. Thus, it'll not only give people an incentive to purchase Tiberian Sun Remaster, but it'll also give them some time to refocus and fix the multiplayer part of Red Alert 2 using a new engine. Again, if they then release a new Command & Conquer game in 2023, then they would have essentially had an entire year after the release of Command & Conquer Red Alert 2, or essentially the remake, which would give them an entire year to fix up the engine of the new Command & Conquer game. Are you still with me on this one? Well, like I said, I think mid next year we're going to see the release of a remaster of Tiberian Sun. 2022 we're going to get Red Alert being remade in a brand new engine, and that same engine, maybe slightly updated, we're going to get a brand new Command & Conquer game in 2023. Perhaps by that time we'll see the original remastered collection being ported to consoles as well. But given the fact that the RTS franchise is essentially making a comeback on PC at the moment, I highly doubt we'll see a console port anytime soon. I mean, one of my most anticipated games of next year is Homeworld 3, as well as Total War Warhammer 3, which is currently unannounced but most likely coming in 2021. Not only that, Manor Lords, which I have spoken about in length previously, is also going into early access in 2021. Therefore, it makes sense for EA and Petroglyph to release a remaster next year, a remake of Red Alert 2 the year after, and a brand new Command & Conquer game in 2023. But again, all of this is purely speculative and just me talking about the franchise as a whole and basically a wish list of what I would like to see going forward. But let me know what you'd like to see on the franchise and where you think the Command & Conquer franchise is going forward 2021 and 2022, maybe even 2023. And if you've made it this far, then I wish you a happy new year and hope the end of 2020 has been much better than the rest of the year. But until then, have a fantastic new year, stay safe, stay healthy, and if you enjoyed this video, then give me a thumbs up. If you dislike it, then give me a thumbs down, but please tell me why so I can improve my videos. My name is Frank, I'm the RedTieGuy, and frankly, thank you for watching. Catch you guys in the next year.